I am level 6 in English, and today I'm going to explain my work on whether the Colombian government has correctly handled the coronavirus. So let's start. In 2019, in Wuhan, as virus called coronavirus started. This can affect people usually with a mild or moderate upper respiratory tract illness, similar to a common cold. One of the measures taken by the government has to implement a mandatory preventive isolation that consists of meeting the entire city in lockdown. Claudia Lopez implemented two so-called sectorized lockdown in which certain areas of Bogotá, such as Kennedy, Fontibón and Barrios Unidos, are locked down for 40 days, while the rest of the city is able to reactivate its economy. After 5 months of being locked up, it was necessary to reactivate the economy because many of cities did not have anything to survive on. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Rodolfo Cia Navarro, affirmed this Saturday that the national government will guarantee the supply, logistic and food security in the country during the mandatory preventive isolation for all Colombians announced by President Iván Duque and which will run from Tuesday, March 24 at 11 o'clock p.m. until Monday, April 13. We are going to guarantee that the logistic chain of food production is going to maintain. We are going to keep food imports. We are going to keep agro inputs imports. We are going to keep our ports open so that they receive these goods. We are going to keep transportation logistic so that agro inputs and goods we need for food production arrive to the production centers. Start Minister Cia Navarro during a statement made at the Casa de Nariño. New measure taken by Claudia Lopez to manage the coronavirus. What I am going to show here is how the mayor has implemented virus prevention measures of the virus. That means that if the sins and his individual care as a family member have been considered. Number 1. Isolation of all families with positive cases. The mayor of Bogotá said that when a positive case is detected, the entire family with whom the infected person's life will be placed in preventive isolation in order to avoid further contagions. In Bogotá from now, in homes where there is a positive person, the entire family must quarantine them. All close contact with a positive coronavirus must stay at home for 14 days with or without a test. Number 2. People with anxiety, diabetes and hypertension at home. According to the data of contagion evaluated by the authorities, people with obesity, diabetes and hypertension present a high risk if they become infected with coronavirus. For this reason, the city's president explained that people suffering from these pathologies should stay at home and take all the self-care measures such as distance and for the use of the mouthpieces as prevention and care. Number 3. Improvement of epidemiological maps. The major pointing out that the third measures to be implemented is an improvement of the epidemiologic maps, positive cases that will all to know to close contacts of the positive cases that are outside their families' nucleus. In order to identify these close contacts, citizens are asked to report not only there so that they can establish all the people with whom they had contact and care for them. One of the things that Claudia Lopez highlights after this selective or sectorized lockdown is that it did work because of the following. Thanks to the isolation measures that were implemented in the Colombian capital, the results have been positive in slowing down the speed of infections. According to the most recent report delivered by the Special Registry of Health Service Providers, it was announced that the occupation of intensive care unit in the city of Bogotá managed to fall to the 77.6% and the hospital occupation to 74%. Due to this, the president sees the opportunities to lift the lockdown in Bogotá and to reactive more sectors of the economy. For example, among the measures announced was the reporting of various economic sectors, as well as the end of the strict lockdown in localities of Puente Aranda and Nariño, as of August 24, due to a decrease in the speed of infection in the two localities of the city. In order to prevent a large number of people from taking to the streets, the mayor insists on a model of reactivations by shifts, in which she proposed that no more than 4 or 5 million people be on the streets. Testimony of the director of the World Health Organization. A report by World Health Organization director revealed the great work that the Colombian government has done in taking the right measures to confront coronavirus. Colombia has worked intensively to prevent and tackle these diseases. On the other hand, he emphasized that the Colombian government had stood firm but must still continue to implement a comprehensive approach to win the battle against coronavirus, and we must protect ourselves and others. Instead, that we must keep our distance, wash our hands permanently, use hand sanitizers and wear a mask. Iván Duque and his explanation on how to manage the pandemic. President Iván Duque emphasizing that the crisis in Colombia was fact-earning, indicating that it has been in phases, with reliable information and the accompaniment of experts and science. The three fundamentals axes the President Iván Duque want to highlight in the face on the good management of the pandemic are: Number 1. protect the health of Colombians, no matter where they are, guaranteeing the advancement and access to health of most. Number 2. To protect the social fabric, to prevent the loss of all the achievements made during decades, to overcome poverty and to continue the course of the objectives that it is achieved equity. Number 3. To develop tools to reactive the product capacity so that despite the coronavirus, Colombians have a country of opportunities in which after the situation has passed, there are still paths to follow in order to embark on the path of dreams. On the other hand, and to reforms point 2 and 3, President Iván Duque highlights the following. We design and implement new equity models and reached nearly 3 million families that were not part of any state program with an unconditional cash transfer program called Ingreso Solidario. In addition, we are carrying out a reactivation plan called New Commitment for the Future of Colombia, aiming at mitigating the impacts of coronavirus on productive activity and laying the foundations for a rapid economic recovery that is sustainable and socially conscious, with a transversal axis of strengthening public health. One of the things that we as scientists need to keep in mind in order to move forward with the pandemic is to continue to respect biosecurity standards. Remember the importance of hand washing and the mandatory use of mouthpieces. Also, the measures that should be taken after leaving and returning home, such as having a good disinfection, having exclusive clothes and shoes, and the door for when leaving home. Finally, I believe that the Colombian government has implemented the best biosecurity measures for the entire country so that the cases of coronavirus do not continue to increase.